How's it going, YouTube? It's Peruvian Trucker back with another video. So this is gonna be a different video. This is a very personal video for me. It has nothing to do with trucking. It's a little bit about my past. I've mentioned multiple times in other videos that before I got into trucking, I was a service technician for BMW and then Porsche. But my heart really lies in BMW. My daily driver at home is a BMW station wagon, an E34. And I was scrolling on Instagram just a few minutes ago, and today is August 17th. I realized that tomorrow, August 18th, would be the 4-year anniversary from when I got my first BMW E34, which set me down this spiral of BMW E34s that got me into my current car, which is one of my dream cars ever since. And I made a video about the whole experience of how I got that first E34 a couple years ago, because I wanted to make a YouTube channel of, you know, automotive repairs and tutorials, because that's one of my passions. Obviously that has since changed. I'm doing the trucking thing now, and it's all with goals. One of my goals is, like, with the money that I'm gonna make trucking, I'm gonna buy my house, and I'm gonna have a shop so I can work on my cars and do the YouTube stuff for those when I have that space. But anyway, I just wanted to share that video that I made like 3-4 years ago about how I got that car, because again, it's really important to me, and I made this YouTube channel to share all of my experiences, including what you can do as a trucker outside of the job, you know, like the things that you can accomplish, which will be me buying that house and me working on the cars and doing the modifications that I want. So I hope that you like this video, and I'm just gonna let it play, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. A little update before I get into that. I'm actually in Illinois right now. I'm still on this load that I talked about on my last video. It's a 3-stop load. I delivered 2 stops already. So one at 2 in the morning, one at 7 in the morning, and now I'm waiting for the last delivery, which is at 4 in the afternoon. And then I have another load that's going out of Chicago to I think it's going to Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I hope you like this video. Like, I just want to share my passion, so I'm just gonna let it play, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Hello, YouTube. So today's a special day because it's the 1-year anniversary from when I bought my BMW 525i. And I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a while where I showcase, you know, how-to videos and tutorials on BMWs, where I improve my cars as I share those experiences with people that want to work on their cars. But I've been kind of slacking because I wanted to make the perfect first video. But this morning when I was on Facebook and I saw that 1 year ago thing, or 1 year ago today thing that they have, and I realized that it had been a year since I bought this car, I figured, why not just tell the story of how I got it and make that my first YouTube video. A little over a year ago, my dad was looking for a car that didn't require a monthly payment. He had been leasing a Toyota Camry and wanted to give that to my mom. And I suggested, because I work on BMWs, that a BMW 5 Series and E39 would be a good car for him to have. They're not crazy expensive, between $2,000 to $5,000, and they're fairly reliable. So back then, so I convinced him that that's the car he should have. Back then, I was working on the engine for my E30. I had bought an engine and I was rebuilding it. So one day, a Wednesday, I was working at that shop on my engine. This friend of mine, John, was lending me a spot in his shop. And while we were talking, while I was working, I mentioned to him that my dad is looking for a 5 Series to buy. So he showed me this Craigslist post of a 1991 black BMW 525 with 273,000 miles, stick shift. And in my mind, I thought that this was super cool because there's not that many BMW 5 Series, you know, the midsize sedan that are stick shift. So I had this idea in my mind that my dad should get this car because I already have the E30 that I'm working on, and I mean the E34. That car it's a similar looking car. They're period correct. And I had this solution of me cruising to like Cars and Coffee with my dad. He will have the E34 and I'll have the E30, and we'll have a blast, right? I got home and I told my dad, hey, look, John found this. We should get this. We should get this. And my dad was just not on board. He wanted an automatic. He had already bought into this idea of the 39 that I had told him about. So he just chose to not go for it with this car. And I had my own idea in my mind. So, and I had the solution of those two cars together. If you're not gonna buy it, then I'll buy it. Because it's a good car, and even if the car turns out to be total crap, just the components are worth more than what the guy's asking. Now keep in mind that at that point in my life, I had my Volkswagen Jetta that is my daily driver, or was my daily driver, and the E30 that had no engine, so it was a non-running car that I had on my parking spot. So when I said that, both my parents were like, why, what are you talking about? Why would you buy this car? You already have a project. You already have two cars. Why do you want a third car? Where are you going to put it? Etc. And me being stubborn, I was like, no, and having this idea of having these two cars together, I was like, nope, I'm going to buy it. I'll figure it out. So I could like persuade him to get the car, to let me get the car. I got my dad on board. So the next day I was on the phone with the owner. It was a one-owner car, again, 273,000 miles, but it was a one-owner car. So that got me a little more excited. So that afternoon on Thursday, I had agreed to go look at the car. I had agreed with the owner that I would be there around 6 o'clock, 6:30 to look at the car. The way I figured is my dad works until around 5:30. So he'll get home at around 5:45. And we'll go to look at the car together. He didn't get home until like, I believe it was like 6:15. So I had texted the owner that I was going to be running late to be there at 7:30. So my dad got there at 6:15, to the house at 6:15, and we go to look at this car. And when we get to the address, I go to text the owner to tell him that I'm here. And that's when I realized that he had replied to just don't go that night because it was too late. But the car was sitting outside, so I got out and looked at it, and while I was looking at it, the owner was in his house, so he walked out to greet me, even though he said it was too late. The hood was peeling because of the sun, the paint wasn't in the best shape, but he started the car, and I mean, the engine was fine, the clutch didn't work. We agreed on $1,000, and this was on a Thursday afternoon, so I told him that I was going to pick up the car on Saturday. I talked to my cousin to borrow his pickup truck, and I got a trailer from U-Haul. So Saturday comes, surprisingly, even though the clutch didn't work, like the guy topped off some brake fluid on it, and we got the clutch to work enough where we could get it in the trailer. We drove it in the trailer. So we get it to John's shop, we park it. I'm super excited, another car that I have. I just love cars, so any car that I get, it gets me excited. I'm like, I'm waiting for someone to pinch me because it's a BMW, it's a nice looking car, it's a stick shift, I love it. We drop it off the shop, and then we just return the trailer and go home. And through the next couple of weeks, I diagnose it, and we take the valve cover off, and the valve cover looks, the head of the engine looks so clean. It's a 273,000 mile engine, but it looks brand new. And that just reassures my purchase and makes me even happier. And then we diagnosed it, and we can't come to find out that it's the master cylinder that's not working. So we ordered a new master cylinder and we get it repaired. And this whole thing takes about a month. Keep in mind that I'm still working on the engine for my E30 and that I still have a job. So I'm just going to this shop like a couple hours every other afternoon. So this takes about a month, 3 weeks to 4 weeks, because I had to get the car out before the next month comes in, so I don't have to pay him for another month of storage. So I get the car fixed within the 4 weeks, and then I drive it to my other job. I work at BMW, so I drive it to my shop one Friday night, so I could, like, at my job, we have the tools to take the transmission out and do the clutch because the clutch is shot in this car. Keep in mind, everything in this car, it's a one-owner car, 273,000 miles. It had the original clutch in it. Everything that it had was all original. They didn't modify anything. It had the original intake, the original everything. So I drive it to my job. I leave it parked overnight, and the next morning, Saturday morning, I bring it in so I can do the clutch. I did the clutch. I had the car running. When I did the clutch, the transmission mounts were shot and worn, so they just disintegrated as the transmission was coming out. But that's fine. I did the clutch. I got the car running, and I drove it home after that. I was super happy. Again, so excited to have another car, and this one actually runs, unlike my E30 that I have been working on for like 2 years. Which is a story for another day. But coming into the end of the story, the reason why this car was such a blessing in disguise and why I'm so happy to have had it throughout this year is because not 10 days after I did the clutch and I had the car running, I was driving my Jetta from work to school, and this guy on a pickup truck ran across my lane and hit me and totaled my car. It broke my hand, and the airbags deployed, and I had just switched insurance companies from Allstate to Geico, and my full coverage was not active because it was pending an inspection. I was like, oh, it shouldn't matter because it's not my fault. The police officer came to the ambulance and told me there were witnesses and that the accident was not my fault, so his insurance should pay. So I was like, oh, then that should be fine. But as the month of recovery went by, me and my attorney, we realized that the guy had no insurance. He gave an insurance card of an insurance that wasn't active. So basically I got stuck with a totaled car, a monthly payment on my car because it's a 2015, and I mean, no daily driver for me at that point. If it wasn't because I kind of went against my parents, which is something that I don't advise, but if it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't have bought this BMW E34, which has been my daily driver for the last year. You know, like, I mean, it hasn't been perfect. It still has some issues that I'm tinkering with, and I still want to restore it completely. But I can't deny that for the last year, that has been my number one mode of transportation, and I wouldn't have had any transportation if it wasn't because of that. And I thought that this would be an interesting first video because, I mean, I've worked on that car and I'll continue to work on that car, and I will post videos of the repairs that I'll do in the future. I just hope you guys like the story, and I hope you understand. If you love cars, and you would understand why this is so special to me. And no, nothing. I hope you like this story, even though I mumbled a little bit because it's the first video and I'm shy and etc. But I hope you guys stick around so you can see what goes on with what happens with that car and the E30. That, well, I mean, granted this story was a year ago. The E30 has an engine now, and I have them both running. But let me just end this. I hope you like the story, and I'll be posting more videos in the future, and I hope you like it, and just stick around. Thank you for watching. to my shop and I did the clutch, and then it was like running. Um, and about 10 days after that, I had an accident on my Jetta and my car got totaled, and that's the car that I've been driving since.
How long after was that?
Like 10 days after that.
10 days?
Yeah, less than 10 days. I was trying to do the math because the accident was in October 9th, and I must have finished the car in like September 28th. Yeah, so if I wouldn't have gone against my parents and bought that car, I wouldn't have a car right now. Well, I would have the E30 now, hopefully, or I would probably would have to I probably would have sold that to you know pay for another car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Huh?
I thought that was pretty cool.